Do you sometimes say yes but mean no, or say no but mean yes? I'm guilty of this too. To be clear, we are not talking about minor day to day situations or even social, family, or work obligations, which are kind of one and done scenarios where you might have a little reluctance around it, but you do it and you get over it. Otherwise, we would never get anything done, right? Case in point, my alarm. Every morning it goes off. I want to say no and mean no, but then I would be in bed all day. In this context, we are talking about deeper, significant scenarios in terms of how we relate to ourselves and to people around us, where these responses are causing stress or lack of mental peace. So, say at work, you have a toxic environment, you don't feel supported, you have a lot of work, but you're doing it for the sake of the paycheck. In your relationship, maybe you pick up all the slack and you feel undervalued. Maybe in a relationship with your friends, you feel they don't honor your time or your presence and you are only scheduling events for them. And in terms of relationship to yourself, maybe you feel there is this lack of discipline, lack of motivation, lack of control, and there are these unhealthy patterns. Reassess all these situations. Anytime we choose a response which is different than what we would like to give, we are creating this inner conflict. We are betraying ourselves. If we keep doing this, then over time, our body starts distrusting us. It's no wonder we cannot trust ourselves to make decisions that will benefit us, that will keep us safe, that will help us thrive. And then the body finds other ways to express our responses. So the next time you have a big meeting at work, you might wake up with a migraine headache, or you have that event that you want to schedule for your friends, you might have a fever on that day. So, over time, if we continue with these habits of undermining what we want to say and saying something else, then this can result in psychosomatic or even autoimmune diseases because the body finds ways to speak up for us when we are not willing to do that for ourselves. A lot of time this comes from people pleasing attitude when we don't want to appear selfish. So even when the other person offers, we might say no because we want to be this nice person and we want to be kind and considerate to the other person. And it's all well and good, but why not extend that kindness and consideration towards ourselves also? So if a person offers 5 times, maybe 3 times we can accept. And if you have a hard time accepting others to do something for you, then maybe you can do it together. But we need to find ways to let ourselves off the hook. We cannot take up everything. Also, remember, when we try to do things beyond our capacity, we are not able to give our all, and half hearted attempts will only yield less than satisfying results. So, even though you are pushing yourself so hard to do something, there's only so much you can do. And if the other person is not happy with that outcome, then you're creating these lose lose scenarios where you are unhappy and the other person is also unhappy. Instead, we want to create win win scenarios. Now, how do we go about that? If possible, be honest, be open with the other person. Express your point of view, your perspective. Tell your boss that you feel unsupported in the work environment. The other people are not cooperating with you and you have a lot of stuff on your plate. Tell your partner that you feel undervalued, you feel taken for granted, they don't you don't seem to be seen or heard by them. Tell your friends that you feel that you are only organizing events for them but don't feel appreciated or part of the group in a significant way. And vulnerability is compelling. When you are open and honest and sharing, the other person will also listen and pay attention. But if you feel the direct approach is too harsh, then maybe mold the narrative a little bit. Tell your boss that you already are working on five projects and it's not possible for you to take up the sixth one, or otherwise the productivity will suffer. Tell your spouse that you are not able to work on all these tasks, you are feeling overwhelmed, and they have to pitch in on some of the others. Tell your friends that you are swamped at work and you cannot organize all these events, so then you probably can have these in rotation where someone else takes up the next event. Now, if you try one of these two approaches and others still don't understand your opinion, don't take you seriously, then it means they don't care. And pursuing such connections is futile. Now, I understand at work you may not be able to leave that job because you have the paycheck coming in, but it's a red flag. Start looking for a different job because over time, the situation will only get worse. In terms of other relationships, friendships, or the significant other, if they are not willing to understand your point of view, then these are just surface level relationships. They are not deep connections. And so you need to ask that question whether you want to be in these relationships, because these relationships would only create win-lose scenarios where the other person wins the entire time and you lose. And if you're doing it for the fear that if you don't do it and you might lose the other person, then guess what? You are only delaying their departure. Someone who's a flight risk will eventually end up leaving, and it will cause you more distress because you wasted all that time and energy into holding on to something which was never yours in the first place. So, reevaluate these relationships and find out if it's worthwhile for you. Finally, in terms of relationship to self, a lot of time we are behaving out of control with ourselves because we have absence of clear boundaries. We are not able to control these other situations, other relationships. So all the stress from those relationships spills over and manifests as this lack of control, lack of discipline in our relationship to self. Boundaries, not brownies. When we have clarity in other aspects of our life, this clarity penetrates into our personal goals as well. And we have all this space that we can then dedicate it to our own growth. Also, remember when dealing with an unhealthy pattern or habit, saying no in the short term is saying yes in the long term. So, make the right choice for yourself. Ultimately, the goal is always to say yes to ourselves. Whether we are saying yes and meaning yes or saying no and meaning no, it always means that we are saying yes to ourselves. It's about upholding this integrity that we have to our inner being, that we are always honoring this response that is coming from within. And in that scenario, we will always create win win relationships, whether it's our relationship to ourselves or when we are relating to other people. Everyone will be benefited in that scenario. So, whether you are saying yes or no, you're always choosing yourself and saying yes to yourself. Thanks for watching. And also, go Warriors! Bye.